Right now in Ukraine, we're about to see the absolute worst that our civilization has to offer. Right now, they're getting ready to do another mobilization bill. They're going to scoop hundreds of thousands of men off the streets against their will, as they've already been doing, mind you, but now it's going to be financially incentivized because Lindsey Graham went there today and basically said, look, we're going to lend you some money, knowing full well that if Ukraine is destroyed, there's no way they're going to pay it back. Military-industrial complex, they don't care. So what they're going to do is they're going to say, hey, if you can mobilize a few 100,000 more guys and put them into the meat grinder, then maybe we will lend you this $60 billion. 15 billion of it is really all you're going to get. The rest is going to go into replenishing U.S. weapon stocks. And we're also going to, in the EU, deport all the draft dodging Ukrainian fighting age males, which of course range from 18 to 60, and we're going to send them off to the meat grinder. Okay, now imagine the rebellion that is going to ensue in that country when people have finally had enough. And if you don't think that that authoritarian level of control can be practiced here, just you wait. If we can treat people like that remotely, and if we can just turn a blind eye to it and tacitly accept the fact that they are taking people against their will in a war that most people have now realized is futile, especially for an organization that does not want to bring them into the alliance, it's just stupid. From a Ukrainian point of view, it is dumb. And at some point, people are going to revolt against it. And you better hope that NATO has some plans up its sleeve, because that's when Russia becomes a real superpower. Vladimir Putin is pledging to his people that they're going to see 6 years of skyrocketing prosperity. And I think that if things keep going the way they are, that's going to be true. And this is not going to be a case of rising tides raise all ships. No. See, we are going to conversely be on a downhill trajectory. Economically, culturally, socially, politically. All hell is going to break loose because they're going for broke right now. And they have a place to bug out to, and you don't. Case in point, in Israel. Some people have already gotten out of the country, but the ones who are going to ride it out, what's coming, they've now been encouraged to stockpile and get ready for blackouts. Because when the war with Lebanon starts, one of the first places they're going to target, of course, are the airports, the military facilities, but they're also going to target the power grid, the critical infrastructure, and it's going to be lights out in Israel. Now, Israel is a small place. Even with a functioning Iron Dome, Hezbollah has been able to successfully disrupt power to hundreds of thousands of people on numerous occasions. Now, in an all-out war, when you activate Iranian proxies and Hezbollah and the Gaza Strip goes crazy and the Houthis are firing ballistic missiles and utilizing drone technology, that's when, it's going to be every man for himself. And that whole situation, kicking a hornet's nest, is just not going to be a valid analogy to describe the situation that is about to unfold in the Middle East. It's starting to look as though any sort of biblical or religious prophecy, even from a scientific point of view, it's going to be self-fulfilling. This is where everything could just come undone, apocalyptically speaking, because of course you have countries that have nuclear weapons, Israel in particular, and quite possibly the Iranians. However, I don't think Israel is going to be in a position to use those nukes against Iran. And even if they did, it probably wouldn't make much of a difference unless they have some secret technology we don't know about. Speaking of secret technology, people need to pay attention to what's going on with the space-based arms race. I think that this tech, this spy tech that Elon is about to be a part of, and I probably shouldn't even say that, because he is just the front man. He's just the poster boy that they use because they know that he's kind of in the favor of the alternative media. So you know, if you want to, it's classic controlled opposition. I mean, you got a guy who's revered by most people as being the spearhead of free speech, yet at the same time, he's malignantly embedded within the military industrial complex at every turn. You know, if you don't think that they're not going to turn X and Starlink and Tesla and all this stuff against us when the time comes, then you're delusional. Look what they're doing in Ukraine right now. That is just a trial run, a blueprint for what they're going to do when the Western democracies start to collapse and we see the rise of the authoritarian East, okay, when they start to prosper in the New World, because they've now built those Belt and Road relationships with Africa, with parts of Asia. And we, of course, have tried to rule with force. Now, most people are going to get to that phase of their imperialism where, you know, I think this is why Rome fell. And, you know, there's a bunch of reasons why. But something we should consider, one of my lights just went out, that's fine. Maybe this lighting is a bit more ominous, probably more fitting for this video. But the space-based arms race is concerning because Elon is getting ready to unveil this satellite network, which is going to have capabilities. And I think this could be just a front too. I think there's a lot that the US government is currently doing, as are the Russians and the Chinese, to weaponize space that the public doesn't know about. And this is why they sent that shot across the bow about a month ago, where the United States accused the Russia of nuclearizing space. And then lo and behold, a month later, just a few days ago, Vladimir Putin comes out and says, yeah, actually, we want to put a nuclear power station in space. I said in that video, when I did my analysis of it, it really doesn't matter if it's a nuclear power station or a nuclear weapon. Once you put nuclear materials in space, the other side has to presume that it is going to be in some way weaponized. And with this new constant surveillance technology that's basically going to allow, from what I understand it's going to be like having a stratospheric balloon wherever you want it at any given time and watching in real time what the enemy is doing. So right now, satellites, you know, will pass over a space periodically, and it's not constant surveillance. That's why they still use stratospheric balloons, and you even get like higher resolution images, possibly even the ability to use thermals, but at that range, probably not very useful on the whole. But they're also working on bunker detection technology to be able to detect where bunkers are. And I know this because when Ron over at Atlas Survival was here, he showed me who was working on it. I'm not going to say who's working on it because there's NDAs and stuff. But basically, all you need to know is that they're getting ready for space as it pertains to World War III, finding bunkers, and all of this is just going to completely change the face of warfare. It's going to push everything underground, which is why they're trying to do the space-based bunker detection. Now, this is probably way beyond my pay grade, and there's probably multiple aspects of space-based warfare that we've talked about with Castle Bravo that, I mean, this is a very complex topic in terms of how deep you want to go with it. And a lot of it is going to seem like science fiction and in the realm of tinfoil and conspiracy theory. But the fact is, this is what's happening. And I think this is why they're sending these messages to one another when Putin says, oh yeah, we're getting ready to put a nuclear power station in space. And the United States says, oh yeah, we're getting ready to do constant surveillance satellites. And what's the big deal with this, not Falcon Heavy, what's the big Starship that Elon is putting up there all the time? I mean, why the rush with that? You know, something else is going on there, I believe. And we're going to find out in short order. But it's going to be the weaponization of space, full spectrum awareness, full spectrum dominance over the battlefield. And of course, that is going to be used to police all of us. So, you know, we're entering an age where there is going to be no escape, no off-grid. And this is what Bradley Garrett said in our recent interview that was very thought-provoking, was that, you know, the bunker represents one of the few safe havens away from the panoptical Orwellian eye in the sky that is increasingly bearing down on us, okay? And this is why, you know, you have to factor that discretion into your preparedness plan, and know that one of the biggest things we're going to have to contend with is likely authoritarianism, because I have a feeling that the tables are about to flip, and the societies that once prided themselves on democracy and mercantilism and service-based economies are now going to be forced back to revert into a resource-based economy, a more mechanized, manufacturing-based economy, which, you know, they're starting to merge robotics with artificial intelligence now. NVIDIA just released a insanely fast chip today, and you're starting to see more and more the integration of robotics and AI, which will probably create some sort of parity in terms of our ability to mobilize, I don't want to say human resources, but humanoid resources to compete with the manpower of the East. But, you know, that could be 10, 20 years away for all we know at this point, unless the guys in charge have a plan that we don't know about. But just prepare for the tables to flip. And what I mean by that is we may be seeing a golden age, just not for us, for the rest of the world. So it's time to put yourself in a good position. I would say having self-sustaining systems in place is, you know, it used to be that having a garden was a luxury, you know, it's a hobby thing. And now it's not only just financially lucrative for a lot of people. If you actually want to eat healthy, you almost have to have a garden. And for the price of some seeds and some soil and your cheap water bill that you have in the city, probably not so cheap in some places, but it's well worth it when you look at your grocery bill going up month after month. So we're going to be doing a lot more homestead videos. As I recently indicated, I'm in the final phase of closing on a off-grid property, and it's quite exciting. So I look forward to sharing that progression with you guys, and I look forward to all the insights that I can get to make sure that we do it right. So anyways, I want to share a story with you guys. It's a message that I received from somebody who has not had the best of luck when it's come to preparedness, okay? Here's what they have to say. And I referenced this in a recent video I did with my guest, Leon Simons. My wife and I watch your channel every day. We always get our World War III updates. Thank you very much. We started becoming preppers because my wife went through Category 4 Hurricane Hugo in South Carolina, and we lost our home in a double diamond wildfire here in Texas in 2014. Just wait, it gets better and worse at the same time. So we started prepping to be better prepared for disasters in the future. While living in Anchorage, Alaska in 2018, we went through a 7.1 earthquake, and our preps paid off. Unfortunately, now back in Texas, we lost our retreat home in the Smokehouse Creek wildfire just yesterday. We lost the house, barn, chickens, food preps, medical supplies, guns, ammo, everything. Our entire retreat and preps are totally gone. But this next statement is powerful. But we will start over. We will rebuild because we are survivors. We lost all the stuff, but not the prepping mindset. Fortunately, our kids and grandkids made it out just in time to escape the flames. The most important things we did not lose. Please tell your listeners to take some advice from a couple that have literally been through the fire more than once, that the most valuable things you have as a prepper is the survival mindset and the hope for a better future. The greatest tool or weapon we possess is the one between our ears and in our hearts. Keep up the good work. So I gotta say, man, that's a tough thing to read, and there's very powerful messages in this that we all need to heed, because the day is going to come when you're going to lose it all. Okay, the day's going to come when I'm going to lose it all. I've been mentally preparing myself for one of these scenarios, and perhaps there's a certain freedom in losing it all. I hate quoting Fight Club because it's one of the most overly quoted movies of all time, but you get to a point where your things start owning you and you forget what survival is truly about. And I think that these people will survive the worst that may come because of what they've been through. That's not going to stop me from sending them a care package from the store. Try to do whatever I can to try to soften the blow a little bit, even though I think these people are well past stuff. As you know, I don't think that with people who have endured this much, of course it's going to help, but I don't think that it's going to make or break them. In fact, I think these people are going to be far stronger as a result of what they've been through. And in many ways, this is a mixed blessing, right? Because if you were to get into a situation after a collapse scenario, we're talking nationwide, then to have experiences like this where you're able to let go, and letting go is probably going to be one of the most important parts of a crisis, whether it's letting go of a person that you lost, going through that process of grieving as fast as possible, not just in a rushed way or where you're repressing things and you're going to act out in some rash manner in some other scenario that you're going to put other people at risk. Like Rick walking around in The Walking Dead, seeing his dead wife everywhere and, compromising the whole compound. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about truly coming to terms with what's most important. What's most important for me is my family and just life, because let's face it, all of these tools, these preps, they are all just a means to secure your physiology, to preserve the body and the mind. So it's good not to get overly attached with them, and remember that they're all just tools. The whole point is to perpetuate life and to be able to make sure that your progeny can go on living for as long as possible and that they can procreate and, keep the cycle going. That's the whole point. So the stuff is just a means to an end. The preps are not an end in and of themselves. So if you guys can think of any other creative ways that we can help these people, I mean, sure, GoFundMe, I'd say we could do something like that, and maybe they would like that. I guess, there's so many people struggling right now also that to ask people to be charitable to others, but sometimes that's when you bring out the best in people. And Bradley Garrett thinks that crisis brings out the best in people. I agree to a point, but I think in a nationwide scenario, as I'm going to talk about in my next video, unfortunately, in our society, most people don't have that kind of resolve. Most people haven't been through enough of those experiences to be able to deal with that kind of stress. And they're going to act out as a result of it. You know what? I think I need a break, and I'm going to end the video there. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I'm going to take a lesson from the Art of War, or not the Art of War, it's the 50 Laws of Power, and I'm going to make myself scarce. We're going to get into this other stuff tomorrow. I wanted to talk about the preparing for the eclipse stuff and all the states with this weird messaging, but I think we're going to leave that till tomorrow, because I want you guys to think about what I just said. And let me know your thoughts below. And if you have any creative ways that we can help these people out, please post it down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Canadian Prepper out.